This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Welcome to you. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How has your day been, Abuja? How has your day been, world, wherever it is that you're listening in from? I welcome you especially to Hard Facts this Thursday, pre-weekend edition of the show. It is 3:10 p.m. studio time, and that means that I am 10 minutes in. So as usual, I always like to get straight into the conversation. It's been quite the morning. Very, very busy day across different sectors, especially the education sector. And then the lawmakers just threw in a little something for us to get talking about this afternoon. But I will not be here, or rather I am not here alone. I have with me my guest analyst who will be joining me from now up until we are done with the roundtable. Barrister Abubakar Tanimu Mohammed, joining me. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. Always a delight being here.
Yes, always a delight having you. My second time meeting you. Good to have you here. Always an interesting conversation. All right, let's get straight into it. I've introduced my guest. Dear Lord, did I introduce myself? There we go. My name is Somi. I'm sure most of you know that by now. It's SOMI, short for Apeno Somi. And we're streaming live across our social media platforms, so Facebook, YouTube, at Nigeria Info Abuja. You can join in on the conversation there. Let us know what you think about the stories that we're going to be sharing, starting with this very interesting one. The House of Representatives has resolved to take a 6-month salary cut as a sacrifice due to the economic hardship currently experienced by millions of Nigerians. Yes, indeed. Did you say I should say that again? Yes, let me say that again. The House of Representatives, Barrister Ahmed is nodding, has resolved to take a 6-month salary cut as a sacrifice due to the economic hardship currently experienced by millions of Nigerians. And they announced that it will affect the basic salary, not the allowances, which we know are significantly more than the basic salaries. But they're saying, look, we understand that things are really difficult in the country. And we know that, Nigerians have clamored a long time for cost of governance to be cut down. Right now, we just want to take this time off and not enjoy our full salary. 50% is what they have decided to take a cut of. And the decision to accept the cut followed a motion of urgent public importance moved by Ibrahim Isiaka, APC Ogun, during Thursday's plenary. Mr. Isiaka's motion addressed the need to avert looming nationwide protest over economic hardship. However, Deputy Speaker Ben Kalu proposed an amendment. Mr. Kalu suggested that the cut is a worthy sacrifice the legislature should make for the next 6 months. The motion as amended was subsequently adopted by the House when Speaker Abbas Tajuddin put it to a vote, and Mr. Tajuddin said the cut is going to affect the 600,000 naira monthly salaries of the lawmakers. That means for the next 6 months, instead of 600,000, they are willing to take a cut and go home with 300,000. And just the basic salary, right? Not the allowances. There we go. So let's have your thoughts on this, people, starting with our guest, Barrister Ahmed.
Actually, I'm back, and I think...
Is that in a good way or a bad way? This taking a back?
It's in a bad way.
Oh, dear.
Because in reality is that if you are making sacrifice, let's even know what you are sacrificing. You say, taking a cut for 6 months with the economic realities that we are in. Will it be averted? Will it be improved within that 6 months? And the question that everybody knows is the fact that what they are saying and putting out to the public as their basic salary is just a figment of... less than, in terms of percentage, they should tell us what they are actually earning. For some of us that have worked in the bank and we are aware when they were being advanced various loans, I can tell you for free, that amount, what they earn on a monthly basis, all this is just a tip in the iceberg. They have other allowances, constituency, projects, and so many other funds. I think if they want to I know even this increment will not change anything. It will not, unless government do more than what we are seeing now. The planned protests, I'm sorry to say, for those that are in it, I don't think it will be enough to assuage them into not engaging in it. The people are suffering. People are dying. People cannot afford to have one basic square meal a day. The cost of transportation, the cost of anything you touch your hand. If you go to the market, an average, go to a supermarket, go to any roadside vendor, you see people shouting, what's the price of tomatoes? The other person buying will be shouting, the other person shouting will be it's because they are taken aback. So the National Assembly, what they need to do,
the House of Reps specifically,
this time around, they need to do much more than what they are doing. In Hausa is if you see your neighbor's house on fire, some advise you, if you have a beard, you should put water on it so that it will not spread to you. We've seen what is happening in Kenya. Nigeria is too big to fail. It's not like other small African countries. We're talking of 200 million, more than 200 million people, majority of whom are living below the poverty, multidimensional poverty. And now in this case, the definition of multidimensional poverty is too extensive. When you look at it critically, when you look at the basic, majority of Nigerians are in total poverty. Those that are above the poverty range are not more than 5%, and they constitute the bulk of the politicians. So the question is, if the youths are angry, if the youths are agitated, if the youth go out of control, who will be the targeted victims? All of us will be targeted, all of us will be, but they stand the risk of losing more. For those who are already suffering, they don't have anything to lose. But if as what obtains in Kenya, they need to do more. We elected them to represent our interests. Now we are not happy. This salary cut, nobody will read it. It doesn't reflect, it will not impact on the people. The amount, we know of a lot of income leakages, wastages that goes on a daily basis. Those are the issues. We need fundamental solutions, not cosmetic approach into resolving it. How will the 500 naira impact the reduction of their salaries? How will it impact on the worsening economic situation? The impact will be I don't think it will not even have any impact, to be candid.
Okay, Barrister Ahmed, you touched on a few things, so let's backtrack a bit. First of all, you made mention of the fact that even what is being stated to be their basic salary, you alluded to the fact that it's more. Now remember, the address, when this information came out, they said this cut was going to be strictly on their basic salary. Allowances are not affected, right? Yeah. So clearly, it is on the basic salary. Sure. So when you're saying that, what they even take as basic salary, this does not speak to the figures. Are you saying they earn more than this as basic salary, or did you add the allowances and all?
What did they use the allowances for? They use the allowances for their benefit. Some of them have collected loans to buy humongous property, huge properties in Abuja. I'm telling you as a matter of fact, because when I was at the bank, I disbursed and approved disbursement of funds as high as 100 and something million.
Barrister, I was just going to say, shouldn't we hold the people disbursing these loans to them
then I was accountable? In the bank.
And then here you are.
Yeah, I used to work in the bank, and I acted based on the directive of those that employed me. But I'm telling you, we went to their various hotel rooms with prepared offer letters, and the amount as high as 75 million, 120 million. It's not from this 500.
So it's not from the basic. You're saying a lot of that was from the allowances.
If they are sincere about what they are saying, they should say they are sacrificing all their earnings. Most people in most organizations, when they say basics, that is where they put the most minutest part of their salary, so that when it talks about taxation, those are the amounts that are taxable. Then they shift the humongous benefits in allowances, sitting allowance, reading allowance, entertainment allowance, they even have the hardship allowance, maybe sleeping allowance, all sorts of allowances. When you sum them up together, when you look at what they earn in terms of a constituency project and maintaining the constituency. How many of them are maintaining their constituency office? How many of them are actually paying the people that are supposed to be in their various constituencies? Nigerian senators, Nigerian House of Representatives, they are the most highest paid in the world. Is a given fact. So if they want to make a sacrifice, or if they are looking for ways to appease the agitated youth, I think the first approach now, when we are saying we are not interested in their salary, the world or Nigerians are interested in their total pay package, the money that hits their account at the end of the month. If it is on a terminal basis, we want to know. Most people will do it on a yearly basis, annually. What is the total inflow? When you say inflow, the sum total of money that goes into the account. And even if they even sacrifice all those amounts, I don't think that will equally suffice. It's high time we should tell ourselves the truth. We need in the legislature that should be on part-time basis. You have your functional, if you are a lawyer, you have your chamber, you should be able to engage in legal services. Then when you are called upon, you can now go and render legislative service as part of sacrifice to the nation. So the wastage is coming from those humongous amount that goes to them, and all of them, you will be shocked, both even from the opposition party, that you'll be expecting that they will like kick against what is happening. Everybody they all kept mute because they are beneficiary. We did not see any Labour Party member coming out to say, oh, they've paid me so much, and because I want to bring change, I will not take this much, and I would go as far as making it public, at least when the public knows what the sum total of their pay package entails, all the allowances, it will be a start. But if they are giving this is a great gift that it will change nothing. Your basics, you can even from you that you are working in, if you look at your basic salary, it's just when you compare it to your allowances in every government sector.
You're assuming that I have allowances,
no, everybody have allowances.
No, not everybody. Actually, not
people.
Everybody has allowance.
Maybe
Barrister, you're enjoying it. You're earning allowances in this economy?
I'm an employer of labor, so I pay salary now.
And you pay allowances too?
For those
there
of
we go.
No, we don't pay because we are not as big as Nigeria Info. Most small scale businesses are folding up. We don't expect them to pay. If for my staffers that I pay salary, it's just salary and no any other allowances because it's a small scale law office. But when you are talking of government establishment, as I said, being in the banking sector, we have access or have been privileged to see in exact terms. Because we are availing the facility, they want to know your total earnings upon that they know what amount you can use to access loan.
So again, very quickly, let me understand, what would you say will be the ideal thing that we should see from our legislators? First of all, you've talked about the kind of legislation we should have, but that's a going forward kind of thing. Right now, they are earning this pay, they're earning these allowances, and they're coming out to say, we're not going to earn 50% on our basic, right, for the next 6 months. And if you do the math, really, let's check it, House of Representatives, how many members are there? By the time you do the math, you're saying this will not amount to anything. Would it be fair to say that, or is it a case of whatever it will amount to will not be sustainable because what's going to happen after the 6 months?
Absolutely.
Or should it be a case of this one, we don't even need this at all? Earn your salary. Or if you want to do the pay cut, then do it across your entire earnings. Which one exactly will be the recommended thing that you think Nigerians will say, hey, our legislators have done something?
What we expect of them is we know where the problem emanates from, and the problem basically emanated as a result of the fuel subsidy removal without any action plan, and it has a commensurate impact and effect on all spheres of our living condition. You cannot move around easily. Businesses, everything, there's a hike in terms of cost of doing everything. So if they want to have, maybe we want to go back to the drawing board. If one funny thing about Nigerians and the country at the moment, we always pray to go back to where we are coming from. 2012 is better than 2015. 2015 is better than 2024. And it's the same. So what we are saying, if we can retrogress, as in they should just take us back when dollar is maybe 250, when dollar is 160. So for us, what we are saying is that if they are actually trying to make an attempt, and this one would be like there's a low hanging fruit, and they want to start with this, they should declare their total earning, and they should now tell Nigerians that okay, we are taking a complete pay cut, and it should not stop with them alone. It should go across board. You can put a peg. Anybody earning above 2 million in a month, government can do that as a form of a law.
And not 6 months.
Not 6 months until when the entire situation of things improves. You cannot have somebody maybe working in CBN, an executive, an entry level, earning maybe 1.5 in a month, and you have somebody in Ministry of Justice earning 150. So it's high time we should look at the Orosonye report. We should try to see that income in terms of earning across board, even in the we'll start with the government, because what happened in the government cycle will impact significantly in the private sector. We should have earning standardization. When they are saying basic salary, labor people, they are not thinking deep. They are not looking at it in a way of having a lasting solution. If you want to have a lasting solution, it's not about
the minimum wage.
You should now put a peg at the maximum. Nobody in a particular ministry, for whatever reason, should earn, say, astronomically different from what another people. All went to the same university. And that's why that suspicion that they've reserved certain government agencies, ministry, for their family members, his family and friends.
All right.
And then the rest can go to where they will not be able to live.
We need to go on a break now, Barrister. The conversation continues after this.
There is a dynamic community of learners with cutting-edge facilities and commitment to academic excellence. Kolada IC University Ibadan offers a diverse range of programs to ignite your passion and propel you.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
And listen to Kids FM anywhere in the world.
Stay tuned on the go.
You can stream on our website at kidsfm.ng.
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info.
Here, yes, that's me, and I'm here with my guest, Barrister Tanimu Ahmed, who is taking us on the roundtable conversations. First story that broke in the news earlier on this afternoon is that the reps have decided to donate 50% of their salaries to fight hunger, and this is their move to sort of forestall, or if possible, do something so that the planned protest will not take place. And Barrister Ahmed was just getting into the nitty-gritty of the conversation. Right, so you were talking about what would be the ideal thing for them to do, and let's even talk about modalities, really. So say... let's say we advocated and pushed, and they said, okay, we're going to go beyond our basic salary and we're going to do allowances as well. There are the modalities. What then happens? Where do these monies that they are not earning go to? For example, especially if you said, it shouldn't be a 6-month thing. It should be something that should maintain until sort of things stabilize. Or if the miracle wants to happen, the miracle of us going back, as you said, to what it was like before the subsidy was removed and all of that. Say this, they agreed to do this. Then also the question of what the modalities of where these monies are going to be going to and where they're going to be put into will come up as well, right? Or is it just a thing that they say, and even if they leave it at the basic salary, like I said, if we do the math, it's quite a lot of money. What then would be the conversation as to where it should go, what's priority? Perhaps maybe it could go into the minimum wage purse, for example. You're shaking your head. As a matter of fact, you were talking about the minimum wage and kind of conversation that is supposed to be going on. So let's talk about modalities. If this really did happen and then they take a pay cut, say they start in 6 months and after that they feel like, oh, things are not good enough, we want to review for the next 6 months. What do you think the modalities are in terms of where these monies will go?
Thank you very much. You see, if you have a recall to what obtains in the past, just under the administration of General Muhammadu Buhari, they've taken tokenism to the highest level. Tokenism in the sense that you are giving out palliative, you are giving out 25. Part of the intervention that the government are saying they've done is to distribute grains. Let me inform you, and I'm saying this live on air with all the authority. We don't have any reserve, the supposed reserve that you're supposed to maintain when you have issues of starvation so that the government can intervene. Most of those warehouses, they are empty. They are being used by private individuals to store their goods. If the government, if anybody is saying that what I'm saying is not the truth, they should challenge this assertion by showing a video evidence, and they should mention the specific reserve where those items are kept. They have to go and source it for private individuals. You cannot use tokenism to address existential threat of this magnitude. The people are hungry. The grains of rice being distributed. We don't want to even go to the modalities. When you look at the amount involved, it will not trickle down. During the COVID time, all the palliative, we all saw how they were being diverted. In advanced climb, people receive credit a lot. Maybe you peg it down on a certain income earners. If you earn maybe 500,000 in a month, our banking system application can do that, whereby if you are not earning up to 100,000, if you are not earning up to 50,000 in a month, such kind of palliative can get to you directly. But over time, what we have witnessed is abuses. The Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs that was saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that government intervention trickle down. The court have ruled that they have questions to answer. They should come and account for how more than 175 billion naira were wasted. You don't go about giving people money over the counter. We all know as a fact that almost all Nigerians will lack that honesty, that integrity, that credibility of doing what is right.
I counter that. Almost all Nigerians? No.
More than 5.
There were very few.
5% we should be celebrating. When I say almost, most people that are not in government or in position of authority, they are just waiting for their turn to get into government, and the story will remain the same. Until you have system and structure, we don't need any religious someone. We don't need to be religious. If the system and the structure we have in place are very robust, it will naturally prevent people from doing what is wrong. If you go to advanced climb, not that they believe in God, it's because the system, there's check and balances. In Nigeria, what we have is abuses because the system is very porous.
I dare say that there's a two. You find the two in developed climes. It's just that what is the matter of governance is matter of governance, and what is matter of religion is matter of religion. But let's come back to the conversation around what the reps are doing. Your first response to my question as to modalities was, you said, let's leave the modalities, and said, let's address what it is. Are you saying that what the reps are doing is nothing more than tokenism?
It's tokenism, and it's tokenism taken too far. You see, when the government are not really, it appears that they are oblivious of what they feel. They are not having the real pulse of the people's feeling. People are agitated, and when the agitation, if you have nothing to live for, you have everything to die for. So if they now know that people have been pushed to the wall, that it will get to the point, for example, before now we know how religions are being used, where you have, for example, malams, sheikhs preaching to their congregation that you are not allowed to protest is forbidden. Nobody's taking them serious. They even laugh at them, and some are saying that we will even start with you, that are even giving that message that tokenism is. So we are hungry. So keep your belief system aside. If you are being paid to do that, you know that when the time is up, they will start with you. So now they should know you should have a mechanism of having the pulse of the people. People are angry. People have been pushed to the wall. So tokenism this time around will not help matter. The real issue is to go to the fundamental fuel subsidy removal. If there's a way they can do it, my sister, if you travel around the entire country, hardly will you have a very extensive kilometer of road that you will not be encountering, not pothole this time around. You are seeing wells. If you are going from Abuja to Kaduna, you go to this lane, you take some 100, 200 kilometers, you go to the next lane, people move. The double lane thing, everybody's just driving anyhow. So people
I'm smiling because Abuja Kaduna Road is fantastic compared to other roads that we have in the country.
When I was complaining, someone said this one is even better than
it is.
So how can businesses thrive? How can people be able to even sustain? A lot of Nigerians are hardworking, but the opportunities are no more.
So your recommendation on a daily basis. Your recommendation basically is the legislature should be fighting for us to go back to the what they call it now, the time when we had.
Yes, and you can do that through act of legislation. For example, they can ask the government in power to ensure that this pay cut should be across board.
No, let's know now.
Yeah.
If they're doing that, it's not still tokenism. It's what is it now?
You see, when you have the idea now that, okay, yes, I will be affected by what is happening. That's the sacrifice. What happened in Kenya, now ordinarily the President Ruto ought not to have sacked his ministers, ought not to have reduced his special advisors. Those things that are costly to the government, he was trying to do, and now they've shown him that he cannot do it, and he has been forced. So do they want them? Are they waiting for the people to go against them to force them into doing what ordinarily, if they just on their own volition announce that, okay, yes, we realize and we have empathy for the people, and because of that,
we have agreed
that
pay cuts perpetually,
and not only the House of Reps, should be a collective thing. Income leakages, wastages should be addressed. You cannot cut. Have you seen you are having pay cut and you are buying bulletproof cars that are worth 165 million or so. You are going on training abroad. You are going on a retreat costing billions of naira. We have to check all our expenditures. You cannot be complaining of you are making sacrifices when you have a fleet of cars running into 10 as a legislator who is interested. They should be more scared if Nigerians are hungry. If you are not hungry, you don't have any business. You can move around freely, individually, and nobody will be interested in you. But now, all of us are scared. If the perception that you are doing well, nobody wants to even know if you are in legislature. If for example, if you are doing well or they perceive you are doing well and you're in Nigeria, if you are an enemy to the person that is hungry. So all of us have reason to be scared.
Okay. Let's take some messages and take some calls. It's the Roundtable conversation, and I have with me Barrister Tanimu Ahmed here going through some of these conversations. A few more headlines to share, but this one definitely got things started off and everywhere is fired up. So let's see if I can reduce the load to some extent. Excuse me. So Prince Okifo from FHA Lugbe says, the so-called salary cut is a distempering red herring from the English show. Prince Okifo, your English is taking my voice away. Let's see if I can run through it again. It says the so-called salary cut is a distempering red herring from the fat cats. Trust me, some will hail this move. I dare to tell you that this is like taking out 50 naira from a million. They've mastered the mumu buttons of Nigerians and they keep pressing it. One day, someday, our mumu go do. Okay. Good evening. About the discussion, I wish to state clearly that Nigerians are not beggars. We don't need their salary. Let them keep it to themselves. What we need is good governance. And if they want to relinquish their resources to help us, then they should return all those monies they have taken from us that would have bettered our economy. Pastor Dan from Buhari with this one. Good afternoon, Somi. To be sincere, Nigerians are suffering. People can't afford one square meal. The amount reps are cutting will not have any effect in this hardship economy. Can you imagine a working class person, he asks, I can't give my family 2 square meal without stress. Let there be reduction in fuel. Transportation is killing us. Okay, good afternoon. I believe you meant to say Somi and your guest. The reps members slashing their salary is not a solution. What about their huge allowances and all the fire brigade approach? What about their huge allowances? The fire brigade approach they want to use cannot work. I overheard the Niger State governor saying that youth from his state will not be part of proposed nationwide protest. He will be amazed when it is time. As a Nigerian youth, I'm very ready because this hardship is having so much impact on us. Zax from Kuchikau with that one. Let's see, one more message before I go to the phone calls. Good afternoon, Somi. This cut on basic salary by rep members is only a cosmetic one and will anger the masses. The humongous amount they earn is not in the basic salary but several allowances. Pat Favor from Maraba. Okay, let me take some calls. Hello. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
I can hear you. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tenim. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Salasi.
My name is Salasi.
He already called it. Go ahead, sir.
I want to comment on this issue of this morning being shared to people. It won't get people out of poverty. It's just like what Barrister Tenimo said. These discrepancies in the aspect of salary, there are some special agency that these people at the top make sure that agencies are for their children. If you're talking of NMPC, if you're talking of Central Bank, NDIC, name it. These are where you see all these big politicians, their children get appointments. And poor people don't even have access to that. What government needs to be done, most especially now to the masses, cut the fuel price. Make our refinery work. Provide security so that people can be able to have access to their ancestral land. As I'm speaking to you now, some communities have been held by bandits. In some places, you have to pay bandit money. Tango President Tenimo is from Kaduna. He know that in some places in Kaduna, they have to pay bandit in order to access their land. In Niger State, in Benue, and other places, provide security. Nigerians are not lazy. We are not lazy people. We can work. If government can be able to do that, our refinery work. This problem that we're facing is when he says subsidy is gone. And still look at how people are going. How many small and medium scale companies have gone out?
Okay.
Because they can't be able to contend with the high cost of energy. Government, please do the needful. Please do the needful. Thank you.
All right then. Thank you so much, Salasi. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Welcome.
My name is Zico.
Your name is what?
My name is Zico.
Welcome. Go ahead.
I just want to comment on this issue of the lawmaker saying that they want to defeat 50% of the power. I think during time of while something like that happened to, and I comment that too, they know how to collect it back. We are in Nigeria. This one that I just say, just with the blessing. People that they compete
Oh dear, I believe the call dropped there. Try and call back if you can. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Welcome.
My name is Comrade Salis on the line.
Go ahead, comrade.
Yeah, for my case, he's House of Assembly member. I can say
House of Reps.
Am I hearing me?
House of Reps, I can hear you. Go ahead.
So what they are doing that they don't take their basic salary. It's not Nigeria problem. Our problem is to give us a good representative and make a good law and protect a good law. It's not a rotten law that they're making that when they make a law, it's not effective. The law is not helping the poor masses. It's only them that they are on top. That's why we don't want that. We don't want anybody to help us. Help us with the good law and to protect Nigeria.
Okay.
And protect everybody. What they are doing is just to cause confusion. They are not. They are just a pocket house of assembly. That the president do anything, the president they cannot talk, they keep quiet, and they are saying they are house of assembly members that are representative. What they are representative, they represent the president. These country have done something else.
Okay.
That they cannot even protect Nigeria. They only protect their pocket and the presidency.
Okay.
So that's the problem we have. Unless they change their system or change their mindset. Thank you, God bless.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Somi. Even if all the reps forfeit their salary for 4 years, Nigeria's problems won't be solved. There is a need for 1, agriculture and industrial rejuvenation. 2, capital punishment for corrupt office holders. 3, political office holders should have their children schooling in Nigeria. And 4, refineries must work. Number 5, sharing money and foodstuff shows our leaders are not ready to solve Nigeria's problems. Or go back to the regional government. Aki from Suleja with that one. Let's see. Good afternoon. 1 was 20 trucks of rice to each state. Now reps have salary. Importation of food and unsustainable palliatives are evidence of poor leadership. Now with record inflation and poor exchange rates, the inevitable Kenya loading. The solution is simple. return subsidy, and rest. But I have a message here for you, Barrister Tanimu. Someone said, do you know that even this subsidy that you're advocating that we return to is probably being, well, how do you say, it's probably being paid? Because when you look at the landing cost of petrol right now, over 1,000 naira, as at the last time that I saw.
Sure.
So it's like you are saying they should return to the era before the removal of subsidy, but we seem to be in a quasi-subsidy paying era. So is that really the solution, returning to the removal of subsidy? When we see clearly that if we were to go by the market forces, pump price should be way more than 680 naira, whatever it is you're buying it at now.
Okay, the truth of the matter is, if you have a Dangote refinery that we all clamored for, some celebrated, some of us we didn't celebrate because we know the fact. If Dangote is importing fuel, crude oil from Brazil, from America, then we know we are in trouble. This is our natural God-given resources. Why can't the government, under whatever arrangement, if it means giving him free crude oil for the time being, it doesn't stop them from equally giving selling part of it abroad so we can have foreign earning. Then it will trickle down. The only way is now established as a matter of fact. A lot of personally, I voted for Tinubu, and we all claim for thinking he has the master strategy, we're able to turn things around. But evidently, he lacks the capacity, and all those promises definitely will fail. Will fail in the sense that we know the fundamentals. Fuel is being sold, it has been dollarized. All transactions that involve petroleum industry is done in dollars. So you don't expect, even it doesn't mean that if NNPC, Kaduna, Warri, and the rest are functioning, the refineries there, are they still going to be selling? It's like you own something and you are selling it to yourself. That is where they failed. If you are saying return to subsidy could come in the form that, okay, Dangote, you need how many million tons of fuel? Have it. But be able to sell fuel to Nigerians 100 naira per liter, because you know the volume and quantum of what you are receiving. They are saying...
is that wishful thinking, or does that actually make business sense for that to happen?
It's possible. You see, the major challenge, we know that there are foreign influences that are teleguiding our government. That is given. You cannot do anything as a leader. You either face the consequences by you being taken out in whatever means. So we have empathy for the president. We know his hands are tied in quote. Yes, but he can still do more. People should not die of hunger in the midst of plenty. You can give them whatever they want, but in as much as you are giving them, just tell them that your people need to survive. This amount of crude oil can be shipped to them and they do whatever they want to do. Then certain amount of crude now should be channeled to Dangote for whatever. You can have an MOU with him. Please refine, sell at a discounted rate. That is the whole idea of subsidy.
So not subsidy as we knew it to be at the time.
No.
Very important that we make that, because
not
when a lot of people are calling for a return to status quo, they are saying it as it was at that time, so that we can buy fuel at the amount that we could buy it at that time.
What we are saying, we want reduction in the cost of the regular petroleum, the regular kerosene, the regular gas you use in cooking. If I know that I have a full tank of in my car and it costs me maybe 10,000, then I can move around freely. For those, the cost of transportation will be reduced. Now just look at with the fact that people working in central business area, especially the downtrodden, most of them are coming from Maraba, Nyanya, Kaduna Road, and the cost of them coming. So at the end, they will just be working for transportation. We are not talking of feeding. We are not talking of salary, house rent. The cost of even transporting them. So reduction in the cost of petroleum products will have significant impact. Then you talk about issue of the road networking, issue of insecurity, better part of Nigeria. If you go to Kaduna, for example, from Zaria axis, going down from Soba, Giwa, Beningwari, most of those local governments are in the hands of bandits. It's as if we've even taken it as a reality of life, whereby you pay the bandits to live, you pay the bandits to go to your farm. When your produce are ripe for harvest, you equally pay for it, and it appears the government can do nothing about it.
Okay, I have a very, very important question that has just come in from a listener. We're talking about things that the government can do to ensure that one way or the other, the cost of fuel is reduced, right? Sure. And one of those things is what you suggested with the government in collaboration with Dangote. And then, there's also the conversation around the refineries. Sure. The refineries ought to have been working by now. At least there was one that was stated to have been working by now. But I have a question here from Engineer Femi. He says, the question is even if Port Harcourt, Kaduna, Warri refineries are working today, they may need to source crude abroad. So what's the comparative advantage?
What we are saying is that we have this crude that is enough, but due to the international market dictatorship, they've dictated that you must sell in dollars, and we need it for foreign earning. But now, the issue now, we are talking of hunger, we are talking of existential threat of survival. It can be maybe for a year or two. Let's keep our resources. You can give maybe let's do it 50-50. Take out half, ship it abroad. The other half, completely, at no cost. Dangote have your refinery.
Yeah, but you're talking about Dangote now. Dangote is already experiencing this challenge with accessing crude.
Yes.
Right? You imagine that...
The crude is not there. The crude is there, but they want him to buy
accessing
in dollar.
Crude.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think earlier on, I saw a report today where he said the problem is that the IOCs are selling it above the worldwide price.
Sure.
Worldwide price. Sure. It was like $4 or so thereabout, and he said that's way above.
Sure.
But how is it that the IOCs are determining the price to Dangote in Nigeria here? It does all seem very messy, to be honest. But here's the thing now: if we take it back to the government-owned refineries, Warri, Port Harcourt, and the rest, perhaps this conversation will not. We will not be having the same conversation.
We will still be having the same conversation because, you see, we need foreign earnings. And right now, we are not actually producing anything. When I say producing anything, we are not producing to the quantum that we can now export and have foreign earnings. So we still need foreign earnings to meet other obligations. What we are saying now is that, okay, the IOCs, the president, I said we should now start having empathy for the president. His hands are tied by these so-called IOCs and other international.
Barrister Salim, I put it to you that his hands cannot be tied.
I'm telling you that his hands are tied.
His hands cannot be tied.
There are decisions he cannot take. There are decisions if he must.
But there are concessions that can be made.
That is what we are saying. He should have.
So his hands cannot be tied when it comes to making these concessions.
His hands cannot be tied when it comes to making this kind of concession of, you tell them, well, guys, I know we all know how the game is done, but please, my people need to survive. Can you at least reduce what you are getting from my country? If it is half by half, then at least we will now be. Nigerians are not asking for luxury. We just need food to eat.
You know what's even funny about this conversation around IOCs? At least to some extent, we know of some that are divesting of their investments here in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's not even as if there are that many hustling. So if there was competition for our crude, the numbers are reducing, right? Because they're divesting and they are selling off their assets and all of that to local companies, of which there's another conversation to be had around that as well, especially when it comes to the capacity of those companies to manage and also deal with the environmental risks and the hazards that have come about as a result of these IOCs being here in the country. But again, sorry
to cut you. Yeah. They are not going to leave Nigeria anytime soon. They are divesting from oil. They are going to agric, and they will create the insecurity we are having is as a result of this particular trend.
My head is spinning even more when you talk about. Is that the case with all of them? Yeah, all of them from oil to agric. Within the same Nigeria.
Within Africa, GMO is coming. They are controlling our lands. So what we are saying is that, as you rightly pointed out, we should have empathy for the president. But as you said...
No, I did not... what I said is...
Now,
yes, exactly.
Yes, he should be able to negotiate. This is an existential thing. Anybody, for those that are castigating, if me and you today become president, we will still be faced with this same challenge. Is either you do it their way or you'll be out. So if you know you don't want to be out, the best you can do is you negotiate better. Let my people live. Let us just survive. We are not asking for luxury. They can have their way. If it is the GMO they want us to take, we are ready to take.
No, we are not taking GMO. Don't even go there.
The pain is too much. We just need food. We just need security. We just need peace. Unless they want the
above all of these things, Barrister Tami, we need to take back our country? Because what is all of this negotiating? What is all of this negotiating really? That is now looking like, okay, let's do, okay, you take 40, we'll take 50. Really?
We want to look at what happened in Niger, what happened in Burkina Faso, what happened in Mali. It's the same as what is happening in Nigeria. So now, if we don't want it, we have to support the president so that he can negotiate better.
Oh, I'm all for supporting the president.
Yes, really.
I'm saying that can we present from a place of power and ownership? Because are we so far sold out, or should actually divested to this foreign interest that we have to be soft peddling around them? But that conversation, we will have it when we come back from this commercial break. It's still the round table. Don't go anywhere. It's 95.1 Nigeria Info with Somi and my guest, Barrister Tani Mohammed. Stay with me.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
The Ifeanyi Tournament, the Nationals, is coming. August 12th in Lagos. Witness the brightest minds from across the country in a battle of intellect and eloquence.
Have you ever wondered if controlling resources will be the key to dismantling?
Yes, a child has not been properly academically satisfied.
Well, has such person not also get experience, like your fifth point?
Experience fierce competition.
Peace cannot be kept by force. It's not because there's natural resources there.
Persuasive arguments.
I believe that through a balanced approach to religion and education.
Don't you think that such a person is old enough to decide?
And innovative thinking.
By 1985,
This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
This is Nigeria Info. This is Nigeria Info.
Nigeria Info.
The roundtable discussion. I'm here with Barrister Tani Mohammed, and I have barely 3 minutes before. Okay, I think I might have some time, but I want to get your thoughts and your contributions thus far on this particular conversation before we move on to the next one. The next one is a security matter. As a matter of fact, we are having a report from a Cameroonian envoy, saying that terrorists are smuggling arms into Cameroon using Nigerian allies. We need to talk about that. That's a very, very worrisome report coming up there. But like I said, let's hear from you. Okay, let's see. The idea of one country or another forcing, what is this? The idea of one country or another forcing, is this us, not to do the right thing is a fallacy. How come Angola is declaring over $69 billion in revenue from crude and Nigeria has done less than 5 million per annum? Is Angola a European country? Engineer Femi with that question. I also have Solomon from Cameroon saying, hi, Somi, I don't think our guest understands what he's saying. How can the president's hands be tied? Is he saying he's not the one running the country? He should untie his hands before we crash. Aminu from Kuje saying, good day, my office is in central area. I spend 180,000 naira on transportation without feeding. My salary is 198. I don't eat when I come to work. We need help, please. Olufemi Shoretiri says, good afternoon. It seems you're just looking at removal of subsidy as the only solution, which I believe is not. The president mentioned, you said muted here, I think you were trying to say mentioned, CNG as a solution. I believe if we all as Nigerians are determined, like the Chinese did in their times of economic downturn, they used what they had to liberate the country. We have CNG in abundance. Let us take this advantage to the hilt. It is a food for thought. And let's see. There we go. Emmanuel from Lugbe. I think we need to change this narrative, but let me read out the message first. Then we'll talk about the narrative that needs to change. Emmanuel from Lugwe says, so your guest is one of those that brought us to where we are. I'm disappointed. Over to you.
No, you see, you make projection, but the question and the reality is that I assure my guest, the person that asked that question, if today, with all the passion and the patriotism in him, if he gets there, when they say there's an evil spirit in the villa, it's not evil spirit. There are people that are foreign interests that you must live with. My question is, or my suggestion is that we should find a way around it. There's nothing, they will not tell you that your people should die of hunger. It's left for you as the president, as the person in helm of affairs. You should be able to have and at least stand your ground that certain area is a no-go area. The situation, if you are afraid that they will take you out, the people too can as well take you out when they are protesting as a result of taking to the wall as a result of hunger.
It's time for the news. The conversation will continue after this. I hand over to Mrs. Eberbe.
To everyone, let's talk on Nigeria Info 95.1 Abuja.
Capital. This is Abuja Today.
Police on Thursday in Abuja dispersed a protest by the Joint Action Committee of the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities and Non-Academic Staff Union. The protest was called to demand payment of the withheld salaries of the unionists. Shortly after the protesters tried to gather at the Unity Fountain, a detachment of police personnel and several vehicles barricaded the venue. The protesters had planned to march to the office of the Minister of Education, but their leaders opted to personally deliver their protest letter to the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, and that of Labour and Employment, Nkeruka Onyejocha. They vowed to shut down the universities across the country if their withheld 4-month salaries are not paid by next week. Meanwhile, federal government says it is considering 16 years as the minimum age for admissions into tertiary institutions in the country. Announcing this at the 2024 policy meeting of the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAM, Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman said JAM has been fully notified and that the new policy takes effect from the next admission session. And in health, the FCT administration has dismissed viral reports that 10 children have been lost to measles outbreak in the Magaza community of the territory. The administration is making this clear after a widespread rumor followed a report by the News Agency of Nigeria and that 10 children had died from the outbreak of measles in the Magaza community of the FCT. The mandate secretary, FCT Health Services and Environment Secretariat, Ade Dolapo Fashewe, urged FCT residents to ignore the rumor, stressing that there were no confirmed outbreak of measles in the said community. Ade Dolapo said after a multi...
This is Nigeria Info.